Weathering the storm, finding peace in life's fiercest challenges. Have you ever stood in the middle of a storm? Not just any storm. I'm talking about the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. The kind that leaves you wondering if you'll ever see the sun again. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Detris Gober, a remarkable individual whose insights on faith and resilience have transformed countless lives across continents. What struck me most about our conversation wasn't just Dittri's wisdom, but the authentic power behind every word, a testament to someone who has not only weathered their own storms, but has become a lighthouse for others lost in the darkness of their own tempests. Dietrich Gober's impact extends far beyond inspirational words. Through decades of unwavering commitment to helping others find their strength and faith, Detris has created ripples of positive change that continue to spread, touching lives in ways that remind us all of our capacity for resilience. From community outreach programs that have lifted thousands from despair to one on one mentoring that has saved marriages and careers on the brink of collapse, Detri embodies what it means to transform personal pain into purpose. We all face storms. Some arrive with warning, dark clouds gathering on the horizon, giving us time to prepare. Others strike without notice, leaving us gasping for breath, wondering how we'll survive. But what I learned from Detri is that it's not about avoiding the storm, it's about finding peace within it. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt completely overwhelmed? When the challenges before you seemed insurmountable? When you wondered if you had the strength to keep going? If you're nodding right now, you're not alone. And that's precisely why this conversation matters. There's a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from constantly being in survival mode. I see it especially among high achieving Black women, those who've spent years leading teams, raising families, holding down households, carrying communities. They've worn the cape for so long, they've forgotten what it feels like to exist without its weight. This is where faith becomes not just a comfort, but a lifeline. One of the most powerful insights from my conversation with Dietrich Gober was this: faith in Christ empowers you to overcome any storm, no matter how fierce it seems. Not by magically making the storm disappear, but by anchoring you so firmly that even when the winds howl, you remain steady. Let me share a story that illustrates this beautifully. In New Jersey, a stay at home mom started a soap business from her basement. Simple beginnings, just crock pots melting down soap blocks on folding tables while she balanced family responsibilities. Nothing glamorous about it, but she had vision. And more importantly, she had faith. The challenges came quickly, financial strain hit hard, all profits going straight to taxes and operating costs. Every attempt to expand beyond her basement operation met with setbacks. The decline of small manufacturing opportunities in her area threatened to crush her dream before it fully formed. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of giving up, she leveraged local media coverage for visibility. She adapted, using social media platforms like Twitter for marketing when traditional avenues closed. Despite setback after setback, she stayed persistent in her faith that perseverance would yield results. At her peak, she fulfilled over 1,000 orders per week for major retailers. The Star Ledger featured her on the front page of their business section. She became a symbol of resilience for other small business owners navigating uncertain economic climates. Was the storm still raging? Absolutely. Did the challenges disappear? Not at all. But her faith gave her the strength to stand firm, to adapt, to persevere. And in doing so, She inspired countless other women entrepreneurs facing adversity to keep moving forward with faith as their foundation. This is what Detris Gober emphasized in our conversation. Challenges, whether personal, professional, or spiritual, are inevitable, but God's presence brings peace and guidance through them. Let's travel to the Mississippi Delta for another powerful example. During the height of the COVID pandemic, a storm that affected us all, a former teacher founded the Mississippi Delta Nature and Learning Center nonprofit. Talk about challenging timing. The region already struggled with food scarcity, and now children were disconnected from nature amid rising anxiety levels during lockdowns. Launching a new nonprofit under pandemic restrictions seemed not just daunting, but nearly impossible. Yet, guided by a faith driven vision, this founder moved forward. Philanthropic support enabled launch activities. Partnerships with organizations like AmeriCorps brought volunteers who helped clear land and build infrastructure. Each step toward creating an inclusive space focused on healing community wounds was guided by deep conviction. Over 3 years, they transformed neglected land into vibrant gardens and trails that reconnected children and adults to nature while fostering mental wellness through purposeful activity. Today, hundreds engage annually with the center, which has built resilient partnerships across sectors, all fueled by steadfast hope despite adversity. This initiative has become a model for grassroots transformation, powered by visionaries who refuse defeat, even when storms rage around them. It demonstrates overcoming communal storms through unwavering belief that healing is possible, a direct reflection of trusting God amidst trials. Sometimes the storms we face aren't just personal challenges, but systemic barriers designed to exclude us. Consider the story of the Borscht Belt resorts. In the early 20th century, Jewish families faced explicit discrimination at mainstream hotels throughout New York State. Signs reading no Hebrews barred them from vacationing at many popular destinations due to anti Semitic policies. How did they respond? The Jewish community acted collectively, building their own resorts offering not only leisure but also religious services so families could maintain traditions without fear or shame. Hundreds of hotels thrived over decades, providing both sanctuary against prejudice and opportunities for economic advancement within marginalized communities. The Borscht Belt culture became legendary. The area produced comedians and entertainers whose influence extended far beyond resort walls. The legacy endures as proof that unity under shared values can transform exclusion into empowerment. While not explicitly Christian focused, this case study aligns closely with overcoming oppression via collective faith action. It powerfully echoes themes central to what Detri Gober shared about finding strength in community and faith during challenging times. These stories matter because they remind us of something essential. Your journey and testimony can inspire others to trust God's process and see his glory in their own lives. When you stand firm in your faith during life's storms, you become a lighthouse for others navigating similar waters. Your resilience becomes a testimony that speaks volumes to those wondering if they too can make it through. This is particularly relevant for those in what I call the soft girl era, especially high achieving Black women who have spent years in survival mode. They've led teams, raised families, held down households, carried communities, but now they're exhausted. They're ready to shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding. Enjoy peace softness, and self prioritization. Detris Gober's message speaks directly to this transition, reminding us that true strength isn't found in constantly pushing through storms alone, but in knowing when to anchor ourselves in faith and community. Let me be clear. This isn't about passive acceptance of difficult circumstances. It's about active trust, believing that even when you can't see the way forward, there is a path. It's about finding peace, not in the absence of storms, but in the presence of God within them. As Detri so powerfully articulated during our conversation, no matter what storm you're facing, God is able. This isn't just a comforting platitude, it's a profound truth that has sustained countless individuals through their darkest moments. The stories I've shared today, the soap entrepreneur in New Jersey, the Nature Center founder in Mississippi, the Jewish community creating their own spaces of belonging, all demonstrate different facets of the same truth. Faith doesn't exempt us from storms, but it transforms how we experience them. When we anchor ourselves in something greater than our circumstances, we find a peace that defies logic. We discover strength we didn't know we possessed. We uncover purpose in our pain. So here's my challenge to you today. Look at the storm you're currently facing, not with dread, not with fear, but with new eyes. What if this storm isn't meant to destroy you, but to reveal something within you that would have remained dormant in calmer weather? What if the very thing threatening to break you is actually breaking you open to a greater purpose? I challenge you, especially those who feel they've been battling too long, to release the exhaustion of constant survival, to drop the cape of perpetual strength, to embrace the radical act of softness in a world that demands hardness, to find the courage to say, I need help or I need rest without shame. This is not weakness, this is wisdom. And remember this, your storm is not just your story, it's your testimony. Someone else needs to know they can make it through because you did. Someone else needs to see that faith isn't just for sunny days, but for the fiercest gales life can bring. Stand firm in your faith. Find peace in the eye of your storm. And when you emerge, not if, but when, reach back and guide someone else through theirs. Because in the end, the most powerful testimony isn't just that you survived the storm, but that you found purpose in it, that you discovered peace within it, that you emerged not just intact, but transformed. And that transformation, it changes everything. It changes you, it changes those around you, and eventually it changes the world. Thank you